Welcome to Stuff and Things. My name's Chase.
And I'm Jess.
And this is our podcast where we discuss the random stuff and things that influence our lives and our business and just the everyday things that we have going on. And today is our second 5 for 5. It's episode 10. So every 5 episodes, we chose to do a little bit of a series where we pick 5 things from one category that we really enjoy and kind of share them with you guys so you guys can get to know us a little bit better and kind of see what's going on. Our dog just walked into our room here. Come on, Lemon, come on. Get out. Go on.
He just wants to be a bird.
Sulking away.
Sorry, guys.
Now the door's closed. We're back here.
Oh my!
It's always an exciting start to our episodes here. we lose focus real fast.
Yes, we do.
Anyways, that was our dog Lemon. For all of you on YouTube who may have seen her, our big Great White Pyrenees. She's pretty awesome.
Great White
Pyrenees, or White Great Pyrenees. She's not the topic of our 5 for 5 today.
No,
but,
she should be.
She should be. All the answers will be Lemon.
Yes. Who's the best dog?
Lemon. Anyways, for today's episode, though, we are talking about something that we both really, really enjoy. Something that we kind of alluded to us enjoying in the last episode as well.
It makes me happy dance.
Yes, it does. We're going to talk about food today.
Woohoo!
And all of the things that we enjoy about it. I don't think there's really anything I don't like about food.
I like when it's gross. I don't like when it's gross.
That's true. Yeah.
Like when you put something in your mouth and you're like, oh no.
You need to stop hiding behind your microphone.
Never. I want to. That's my goal.
Either way. So I actually wrote down 5 questions for us that kind of go over some different topics of
They were the most challenging questions I've ever answered in my entire life.
I agree. Like this was really challenging for me. I didn't think it was gonna be so hard to pick like my favorite foods.
No, too hard.
And now I'm like, man, I have a real problem with food. Like, if I can't choose answers to these 5 simple questions,
yes,
man, I don't know. But either way, we wanted to kind of share our little, excitement for food with you guys. And then also, why don't you guys answer these questions as well in the comments below?
Yeah, we want to hear.
You can send us a message
love.
Through the Anchor podcast service if you want to. You can send us a voice message that answers these questions, or just comment on the YouTube video if you're watching it below. We'd love to hear your guys' answers as well.
Can you comment on like Apple Podcasts?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure though.
Okay. Well, if you can, do that.
Yeah, if you can, let's do that. We'll find out.
Yeah.
But either way, so the first question we have, we'll just jump right into it. I wrote down, what is your favorite food to cook?
Which I feel like this is probably harder for you as the cook in the family.
Yes.
The main cook in the family who you enjoy it. I stress out. Like, cooking makes me stress sweat.
Yeah, but
because I'm not good at the timing piece. So like when I've got lots of things going, it's like, no.
Yeah, it's hard for you to kind of judge all that.
Like people will be like, oh, it's so peaceful and it calms me. And I'm like, no.
Yeah, but you have been getting better at cooking. I mean, when we first met, you did not know how to cook at all.
Nope.
But then you've kind of learned over the course of the last, 13 years. And it's definitely been helpful to have you be able to cook some things.
Absolutely.
But, since I've been home, you haven't really had to.
No.
So it's been pretty nice.
I kind of forgot again how to. So. Thanksgiving's going to get weird. But salt pie.
Wow. Yeah. So, just as reference there, last year she attempted to make an apple pie, and she's usually really good at making apple pies.
I feel like I'm a fair baker.
Yeah, I would agree. And so she's making this pie, and I'm watching her. And in the apple pie recipe, you're supposed to put some salt on the apples. It helps break them down. It helps kind of counteract all the sweetness and make it a little more savory. And she grabs the box of salt and just sprinkles it over it. And I watched her do it, and I was like, that looked like a lot of salt, but. I'm not going to say anything. She's done this a lot. Maybe she knows better. Yeah. And sure enough, we ate the pie, and I could just backtrack. Gemma, our daughter, wanted to have a contest with you about baking pies. So she made a pumpkin pie, and you made the apple pie.
Yes.
We tasted the pumpkin pie first, and everyone was like, oh, this is really good. And then we tasted the apple pie, and Gemma goes, Mom, I'm the winner. It was the saltiest pie ever.
So in my defense, we had kosher salt, which I'm not I wasn't prepared to use.
You still didn't need half a cup of it.
But meaning that when we have more fine,
like an iodized salt or whatever, like a Morton salt.
I can sprinkle like that and I control it a little better. And I just didn't realize how much was pouring out.
Like,
in my defense.
Have you guys ever seen the employees at McDonald's salt the French fries? Like, that's how much salt she put in.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I have not lived that down. As you can see, the kids bring it up on
all
the
the
regular.
time.
And
it's hilarious.
Yeah, I'm never living that down.
Yep.
Even if this year I make like the best apple pie ever because I make a pretty killer apple pie.
Yes.
Because I've mixed like our grandma's pie recipes.
And your aunt's pie recipe.
Well, no, I use your grandma's apple crisp recipe with my grandma's apple pie recipe. And it's
good. It's
pretty
good stuff.
fantastic.
You don't oversalt it.
Yes.
So you are a fair baker, but what is your favorite
Just
thing?
fair?
I would say you're fair to more than fair.
Just
I mean,
okay.
You do a great job.
I guess I should quit baking.
I really enjoy your apple pies when they're really good. But anyways, what else do you like to cook?
I would say something else I think I'm pretty decent at is like pasta dishes. Like fettuccine Alfredo. I feel like I do a pretty...
You nailed that one pretty good.
I'm pretty good at that. We used to make this thing called clam spaghetti. It's
a recipe from my grandma.
It's your grandma's recipe. His grandma has a cookbook. So I feel like we have to preface that we love food and it's like a family thing.
Yeah, my grandma actually wrote a cookbook and got it published.
Yeah.
And so our whole family has a copy, like my whole side of the family at least.
And she has a kid's version.
She has a kid's cookbook that has like little things like Play-Doh in it and stuff too, which is really fun. But yeah, so she wrote 2 cookbooks, like full-length cookbooks, and got them published, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
So I've grown up like around food my whole life.
Yes.
Between my grandmother being, the cook that she was, and then teaching my dad, and my dad working in the restaurant industry my entire life. Yeah. I've just been around food forever, and it's been pretty awesome.
Yeah.
And then I worked in the restaurant industry as well.
You did. So
I have lots of cooking experience. Yes.
So what's your favorite thing to cook?
Recently, I've really enjoyed making Eggs Benedict.
Oh, it's so good, guys.
So for like special holidays or birthdays or things like that, we'll make Eggs Benedict for breakfast. And for those of you who don't know what it is, it's an English muffin with Canadian bacon on it.
Yes.
And then traditionally you would just have a poached egg, which is like a boiled egg, basically.
That sounds gross, though.
It is. It's so like, think of like a hard boiled egg, but the yolk is runny.
Yeah.
That's kind of a way to really kind of think of it. But you don't cook it in the shell.
It's more like a sunny side up egg that wasn't fried. I feel like that's a better way to describe it than
over easy
a hard boiled egg.
And so then you cover it in a hollandaise sauce, which is like a Béarnaise sauce, if you've had that on steak before.
It's basically butter and egg yolk.
Butter, egg yolk, lemon juice, and that's it.
Yummy.
It's a heavy meal. But we've kind of put our own interpretation on it lately. We will do some more of like a deli ham on it sometimes. And then you don't eat meat. So what we'll do is we'll add a slice of tomato. Yep. And we'll do avocados. And then we'll do the poached egg and the hollandaise sauce.
I get dairy-free hollandaise.
Yeah, I have mastered a vegan hollandaise sauce.
It's pretty fantastic.
Which is actually, I guess that wouldn't be vegan because it has egg yolks in it. So it's a dairy-free. It's just a
dairy-free
hollandaise, which I feel is pretty
awesome. It's so awesome because
but it's a pretty technical dish because there's lots of moving things in it. And I, on the other hand, do find like kind of peace in that chaos. So like I really enjoy like that high paced kind of kitchen environment where like you have, 6 different pots going and the oven's on, and you're like doing all these things and you have like all this prep work and stuff. And I really enjoy that.
And to me, that sounds like
that's your nightmare. But I
can't cut to save my life.
Yeah, she is the slowest at dicing anything. But anyway, so I like to do that because there's lots of steps and it's really technical. And I've gotten pretty good at it.
It's amazing.
So like
good is an understatement.
I've got the timing down to like a T to where everything comes out on time and ready to go at the same time. Yeah. And it's a lot of fun. Yeah. But it's something our kids really enjoy. They ask for it for their birthdays pretty regularly.
Every year.
Which is super fun. We do it for Easter. We do it for Christmas. And really anywhere else that we want to stick it in and feel like our ribs are sticking to the insides of our body.
Yes.
Like you can literally feel your arteries slowing down when you eat this meal.
The dairy-free one is actually much better.
Oh, well, I will never eat that because I like clogging my arteries.
Well, fine.
So yeah, that's what I really like. And I think I like it more because of the fact that it carries like a special thing for our family. Yeah. And that's a lot of fun for me.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So.
All right. Question 2. What is your go-to comfort food? Guys, this one's really hard for me. Because I no longer eat meat, I think it's changed.
Yeah.
Like, so my
There's no comfort in veggies.
There can be. My grandma was a wonderful, wonderful cook. She made everything from scratch. I mean,
yeah,
everything, noodles. I mean, literally everything. And she was a fantastic cook. So I probably would have said like chipped beef, if any of you have ever had that out there, like back in the day. It's like, I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a milk gravy and you put it over toast and there's like these
pieces in it.
It's almost like a strip of, I don't know.
Yeah.
But it used to be like one of my go-to comfort foods because it's so good. But I haven't eaten meat in a very long time. So don't eat that.
Well, this is your English grandmother, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So she came over from England after the war, right?
Phoebe makes like carrot jello.
Yeah. But no, so her grandmother on her mom's side came over from England. So she has that very English sense of cooking. So chipped beef is definitely an English meal. Yes. Much like shepherd's pie.
She would make the best like beef stew, shepherd's
so
pie.
You have all those things that are not traditionally English food, like American food. And so they're very, very different, I would feel.
But I mean, my grandma would come and cook for us a couple times a week because my mom worked full time. And so she would stay and have dinner with us and, you know, because she lived alone at that point. And so I like grew up eating that a lot. Yeah. Like I grew up eating those recipes a lot. And so they were comfort food.
And I think that's really what comfort food kind of stems from, right? Like you kind of have this idea of like a comfort food is like, you know, that hot, like gravy covered meal or like something like that. That's like a traditional comfort food. But I think that comfort food is something that kind of brings something back to your memory. Yeah. Right. Like it helps you to calm down or like it reminds you of somebody or a certain time in your life. And it just kind of is special to you. Yeah. And so there's lots of things that I think can be comfort food.
Well, and for me, a lot of my memories surrounding my grandma surround food because she was always making something.
Yeah. And then your family was all together then also. Yes. So like all your aunts and your mom and all that would all be around.
She babysat me when I was really little. So she cooked 2 meals a day, all day for me. So, and she cooked them. She did not like
from scratch.
Skimp. But since I don't eat meat anymore, and since that has had to evolve and change, now I would say it's when you make broccoli cheddar soup. Because there was this day that I was having a really crappy day and just didn't feel very great. And it was a really hard day at work. And I was just really tired. And I come home every day for lunch because we only live a mile from where I work. It's pretty awesome.
She's a really long commute, guys.
So far. But I was like, I wish I could have some soup today. Like that sounded good. Because he asked, like, what are you looking for lunch? And I was like, soup sounds kind of good. And he like whipped up homemade broccoli cheese soup for my lunch and like warm bread. It was so good. It was so awesome. And so like, I feel like that's kind of evolved to be more my comfort food now.
Yeah. That soup was really good.
It was so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you've made it again since, and it's still always.
We made it so many times our kids got sick of it. Like this again. I'm like,
can you make me soup again? I have a problem.
Well, for me, my comfort food is really like, I guess mine is the traditional kind of comfort food. It's just really anything that's just covered in cheese. like nachos. I love nachos. Or like fondue. I mean, it's not necessarily covered in cheese, but it is just cheese. Yeah. Like, I feel like those things are like, for me, super satisfying. Like they just, I don't know, they warm my soul.
So it's not Alfred Lutz.
No, we won't talk about that.
We have to talk about it. There's a horrible recipe.
We'll get to that. Okay. But we've kind of done nachos a couple times the last couple of weeks, and it's been a lot of fun to just kind of experiment with that and just like toppings and what's on them and things like that, which is really cool.
And like letting our kids pick some of the things.
Yeah, absolutely. And then they enjoy it because it's like a party. Yeah. And it's a lot of fun. But like, man, fondue is so comforting to me. So good. And we typically do fondue together on Valentine's Day.
Yes. So but your family growing up did it.
We did it on Christmas
Eve, right?
Yes. Sometimes.
Oh, not always?
It wasn't always, but we would do it occasionally. Okay. And my parents had the fondue pot with the tiny forks and all that stuff. And we now have a fondue pot with the tiny forks. And it's super awesome.
The tiny forks are so cute.
Little like lobster forks. But we do that traditionally on Valentine's Day together as a just us meal.
Yeah.
And we've really enjoyed that. Like we'll make dinner for the kids and then we'll put them down for bed and then we'll make it together. Yeah. And like we'll prep all the ingredients together. I'll usually make like a steak for me and then I'll make you these killer like button mushrooms.
So good.
They're like sauteed in brandy and like it's so good.
So good.
And then we'll sit down together and just enjoy a meal together for like an hour.
Yeah.
And it's just super fun to just sit down and talk around food. And it's just something fun we do together. And I really look forward to it every year.
Me too.
And then our kids have wanted to do it. So when did we do fondue?
We did fondue with them. I think it was once this year, wasn't it? And
it was like Easter or something.
Okay with the cheese.
But they loved it. They had fun doing it.
They liked the chocolate significantly more.
Yes, they like the food as an activity portion of it, I think. Yes. And so like they enjoyed the like dipping it. They enjoyed the like being in a communal setting. Yeah. And like doing something different.
I do think the cheese is a little hard for them because they don't have that palate yet.
Yeah, it's super savory and like it's got wine in it. Like it's cooked in wine. Like that's the only liquid.
But it's also it's a pretty
sharp cheese.
It's a potent cheese. So then it's get those flavors that you kind of get used to.
Yeah, I would agree.
And learn to appreciate.
As
a
you get
kid,
older.
You're like, oh, this isn't Velveeta.
Well, I mean, I think that's with anything though, right? Like your palate kind of changes over your life.
As someone who lived on Velveeta as a child. Yes.
Yeah. I mean, I did too, but that was a different reason. But yeah, it was just, so I think the fondue is super fun. And then like you said, we do a chocolate fondue afterwards. So the dessert portion of it is like, you definitely have to have a dessert stomach.
Oh yeah.
Because you eat so much bread and meat and veggies with cheese on them. And then
so good.
Afterwards, you're like, oh, we're going to have chocolate with angel food cake and strawberries and like pretzels and brownie bites sometimes. And we go hard.
I'm like, my mouth is watering right now.
This is maybe a bad choice. We're gonna have to do fondue tomorrow. We got some Gruyere in the fridge.
Okay, done.
Who says that? I've just got some Gruyere cheese in the fridge.
We do.
Yeah, we do.
We're weirdos. I know. I still feel like sometimes there are people I meet that I'm like, man, you just whipped up the coolest thing and you had all that in your fridge.
Like the people that you see on TV or whatever that like, they're like, oh, I'm just going to whip up this like meat and cheese platter. Yeah. And like, just like, I just have this and I'm just going to serve it to people. We were watching, what was that? It was that Zoe's Playlist or whatever show.
What?
On an NBC. The girl who has the songs in her head. Yeah, I don't remember what it is.
I don't know. It's really good.
It's really good. Her mom in that show is like the super host. Yeah. And so she always has like crackers and cheese and like, like the whole charcuterie board, like ready to go all the time. And I was like, we were like, man, we got to be really fancy to have that kind of life.
We should get fancier.
Yeah, right, maybe.
We're not fancy. All right.
Third question, I guess. Well, after talking about fondue dessert, I guess this is a pretty good segue into this one.
Yes.
What is your favorite dessert?
This is really hard for me because I love dessert so much. And I was raised by a sweetitarian.
Yes, a sweetitarian. For those of you who are wondering what the heck that is someone who doesn't eat meat, but also doesn't eat healthy things.
She's better now.
She is better now. Your mom has done a lot better. But when I first met her, I mean, that's what she lived off of, like cake and chocolate.
She still loves cake and chocolate. Yeah. And she still looks amazing.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, there's something to it.
Thin and looks good. And so shoot, bring it on. So anyway,
but desserts were a big thing for you.
Yes. So my grandma was always a baker. My aunt is still an incredible baker. Like we always had, Thanksgiving, big holiday family meals. They were always like, the spread of food wrapped around the kitchen. And then they would clean that up and the spread of desserts wrapped almost about the same length.
I mean, that's always my favorite part of any of your family get-togethers is your Aunt Barb bringing apple pie.
Yes. She makes such good apple pie.
So good.
But she'll also bring like a pumpkin. And
she makes everything from scratch.
Yes.
Like all of it.
Even the pie crust, all of it.
Like,
yeah.
Because
that's incredible. What my grandma did too.
Yep.
Yeah.
And she's the oldest. So she learned from your grandma.
She did. Yeah. The rest of us did.
But anyways, sadly. So for you.
So for me, I said apple pie because I do like it's just so fond in my family memories.
So American.
So American it is. Or we make this stuff at my family get-togethers called Oreo stuff.
Oh.
I don't actually know the real name. That's just what we call it. It's like layers of like this like cream cheese filling type thing and whipped cream and chocolate pudding and Oreos. Oh man, it's good.
It's basically like cheesecake filling with Oreos.
It's almost like an Oreo trifle.
Yeah, that's
to
a
a
good way
degree.
to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's so good.
It's like a super American trifle. Like, holy cow. Like diabetes in a glass.
Cool Whip.
It's like, yeah, Cool Whip and Oreos.
We don't have, that's the other thing. We have Cool Whip at our family gatherings. We do not have
Whipped cream.
Well, they might say you want can or Cool Whip. My family.
Your family. They're great.
We've got weird quirks.
In the meantime, like, I make a pumpkin pie and I'm like, hand whipping whipped cream to like go with it.
So good.
Super good.
Yes.
But I mean, there's something special about Cool Whip. I don't know.
It's
not
so
like
good.
cream, but it is.
No, it's oil.
It is oil, but it's so tasty.
It is
and
tasty.
fluffy.
It's
and
like
good.
more vanilla-y than
and
like
it's all the sugar.
Thicker. I don't know. It's good. But anyway, so if I have to choose, because now I've got a million desserts running through my mind.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, dessert. Oh yeah, R&M cutout cookies. Yum.
Those are good.
Oh, I love them.
But so apple pie and Oreo stuff?
Yeah, I'm still sticking with it.
Okay. Well, for me, see, my dad wasn't really a baker. Like, he was a big
Your
savory
mom.
cook. My mom can bake pretty well. She makes really good cookies. Like, her chocolate chip cookies are so good.
They're all, I mean, she uses like the regular cookie recipe, but somehow
she puts magic in
like
them.
I
don't know what it is.
She's like, there's love in here.
Yes,
I don't know.
it's amazing.
So good.
But yeah, I mean, I crave her cookies sometimes hard. But I don't know. So I just really never had those like baked goods in my life like that, like you did. But we would usually have like ice cream sundaes, and like we're a big ice cream family.
Yes,
like,
you guys are.
Our family loves ice cream, and with all the toppings, the hot fudge and caramel and whipped cream and all of that stuff. Like, and it's, I mean, do you say caramel or caramel?
Caramel.
Okay.
I mean,
let us know in the comments what you guys say.
I know it's spelled caramel, but I just can't.
I say caramel.
I'm too Ohio for
I
that.
just always wonder because I'm from Colorado and you're from Ohio and you say weird things, and
I don't think the weird things necessarily come from being from Ohio. Those are more my grandma's isms.
So for me, I'm a sucker for ice cream. Like, and that's just a lot of flavors of ice cream and things like that. And as I've gotten older, like, I do appreciate different kinds of ice creams I didn't like when I was a kid. Like, I really like coffee ice cream.
You used to.
Which, like, I love coffee and I love ice cream. And so, like, naturally
Makes
coffee
sense.
ice cream. And Ben & Jerry's has this flavor called Coffee Toffee Bar Crunch.
Which surprises
is, like,
me.
the oldest person ice cream in the world because it's coffee ice cream with Heath bars in it. And it's
really good.
so good. Like, I love that ice. Like, it's replaced cookie dough ice cream for me as, like, my favorite. Which is saying something.
That is saying something huge because he used to only, anywhere we went, any kind of ice cream, it was cookie dough only.
We've talked about this
Only
creature of
cookie dough.
habit tendency that I have. So yeah, I used to only get it. But yeah, when something topples one of my habits,
that's a big deal.
It's a big deal. But yeah, ice cream. I really love ice cream, and we usually try to find a place to get ice cream when we travel around somewhere.
Yes,
which is super fun.
Like that place,
that Laughing Cow place in Louisville.
Oh my gosh! If you were ever in Louisville,
there's like 5 of them. They're called the Laughing Cow.
There was
Creamery.
this like brown butter ice cream that we got that was like savory but sweet, which I tend to really lean into, which is probably why I love pie so much, because pie crust is so savory.
Yeah.
And it's not like overly sweet, but oh my gosh, this ice cream. Oh my gosh.
So yeah, if you're ever in Louisville, or I guess it might just be a Kentucky thing, I'm not sure.
I'm not either, but it was really good.
Laughing Cow Creamery.
Are you sure that's what
awesome.
it's called?
Yep, I'm pretty sure.
I wanted to say moo something.
I don't know. I'll look it up and I'll put it in the show notes, but I'm pretty sure it's Laughing Cow.
So good.
But yeah, so I think that at that point, we've gone through 3 questions now. We got a couple left, but let's take a quick break real quick. We'll reset the cameras. And then we will get on to our next 2 questions, which revolve around more hard decisions.
I don't like this.
We'll be right back.
So we like took this little break, and I'm like, oh man, now I'm thinking of all these desserts that my grandma used to make me all the time. And I'm like, really wanting them. Like she would always make me this custard that came in a little tin and there was like a bird on it. I think it's an English company.
It might be.
It probably was. Or like Jell-O. And I told you guys this the other day. Like she would make Jell-O, but then she'd give me a little glass of just like the warm Jell-O liquid.
It's the weirdest thing. Who does that?
It was so good. It was like so comforting and yummy. Like
I want this warm gelatin. And do you drink warm juice too?
No, but there was something about that.
Oh, it's so
I don't
gross.
know. I liked it.
Just straight gelatin, like with food coloring and sugar.
It tasted really good. Honestly, the communion cups we have right now in church kind of remind me of it.
I can see that. They're very sweet.
Very sweet communion cups right now. Anyway.
Little space wafer.
So now that we're back, we're going to talk about our favorite things to, since it's COVID, get takeout, because COVID has kind of changed eating out.
Entirely.
Like we're still kind of weird about eating in a restaurant.
Yeah. Like if we absolutely have to, we will. Like when we went to Texas Roadhouse.
Yeah.
Because like we were like, we need this. Like you were craving the rolls and I was like, yes, I'll take a big steak. Absolutely.
And it was Treaty Poo Friday.
And it was Treaty Poo Friday. Shout out to Becky and Chris. But we really try to either get food to go or eat out on a patio.
Yeah.
Because of COVID, we just are trying to minimize exposure, minimize our risk, and also just try to protect other people. Because if we're outside and we're asymptomatic for whatever reason, like, we're not going to be breathing our hot COVID breath all over people.
Mainly the goal.
Yes. So we've been eating a lot of takeout since March because there's a time where, even I don't want to cook. And
it happens
often.
But
we enjoy eating out. We enjoy supporting local business.
Mm-hmm.
We are local business owners ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
And so we definitely appreciate the hustle of small business.
For sure.
And definitely appreciate everything that they do for us. So we try to eat at local establishments as often as we can.
Well, and the nice thing about our small town is that is pretty easy because we only have 2 chain restaurants.
Yeah.
And I mean, we don't really go there.
Yeah. I mean,
they're not bad. I'm not saying to not.
But there was a big stink around when the second one came into town.
Yeah, people weren't very happy.
People were pretty upset that our village allowed them to bring in a chain rather than supporting a local business. Like our whole community is really big on supporting a local business, which is awesome.
It's super great.
So what do you like to eat out?
So I love Mexican food.
Mm-hmm.
So much. So good. It's
so good.
So versatile that I never get bored. Like I could eat it every day and I don't know that I would be sad about it.
Yeah, we had a Mexican food week.
We did. It was so amazing.
So we took a whole week. We were like, let's try something different. Like, let's explore cuisines around the world. We only made it to Mexico.
Yeah.
But we had a whole week where we just made different food from Mexico.
Yeah, it was
which
really
was awesome.
Fun. And we didn't even just stick with Mexican. Like we did Hispanic cuisine because we did arepas, which are a Venezuelan staple.
Mm-hmm.
We tried to do some other things from other Hispanic cultures.
And it was awesome. It was super fun
great.
for me to experiment and cook different things and do things that I haven't done before, which was super fun.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed that. But yeah, Mexican food. That's pretty awesome.
So there's a business in town called De Noche and oh man, I love their takeout food.
Yeah.
So good. They have these potato tacos and I know that sounds weird, but they are mind blowing.
They're so good.
So incredibly good.
I've always felt like you're a vegetarian. I ate vegetarian for a little while. We tried it and it did not go well. I made it
for a week and he was like, if I don't eat meat, I'm going to hurt someone. No, I'm kidding.
No, that's an accurate representation. But I don't know. Vegetables have always been a side dish to me. And so I think there's a mental block there for me of I can't eat vegetables and be satisfied in my meal.
And I think having my mom be a vegetarian almost my whole life.
Yeah.
I was kind of used to it.
But these potato tacos though, there is something so satisfying satisfying about them.
They're
so
magical.
tasty. But I always get their chimichanga from there.
Yeah.
And it's
you like it.
really good.
Yeah.
Like it's filling, it's big. Like I don't know. And I always get carnitas because I love carnitas.
Yes, you do.
Again, creature of habit.
Yeah.
Every Mexican restaurant I go to, I order carnitas.
You totally do.
It's really good stuff.
And you're always disappointed if you try something else.
I know. Like I said, like I know what I like and I'm going to stick to it.
And the week that we made Mexican, we made carnitas.
And we ate it in 3 meals.
I didn't.
No, but I did because it was amazing. But
oh my gosh, I'm
Mexican food for you.
Yes, what's yours?
Yeah. I had a hard time with this one.
I bet.
Because there's a lot of really fun takeout options out there or things to get to go nonetheless. And we kind of bounce around to several places.
We do.
But for me, like if I can find a good burger or a good steak somewhere, like that's my jam.
That is his jam.
Because I really like, I don't know, like I worked at a restaurant that did like craft burgers, we'll call it. So like we made our own patties in house, like ground our own meat, like everything was like super house made, which was really awesome. And then we got to experiment with like different recipes of burgers. Yeah. And I say recipe loosely, like we put different toppings on the burgers, like we topped them with different stuff. But it was fun to kind of have that creative element to it. And like since then I like to try different hamburgers. And
you
like
usually end up with
with a bacon cheddar burger.
It's true.
If they don't have something else, like if there's a burger on a menu that really like catches my interest, like I'll try it because I know I like a hamburger. 2, I like cheese on my burger. And 3, French fries are king. Like I love French fries.
Yeah.
And those 3 things are gonna be staples throughout it. And I know what kinds of toppings I like. So if I can find a burger that kind of encompasses all of that, then I really enjoy it. And
as long as it doesn't have mayonnaise.
Correct. No mayonnaise. But it's like, for me, I really enjoy that. And then like growing up, like my dad worked at a barbecue restaurant and it was called the Double Z in Steamboat Springs. Yeah. And it's still like one of my favorite restaurants of all time. Like it's so simple and so easy and it's just so good. But they had a burger there called the Z Burger and it was an 8-ounce patty and it had bacon and it had a hot link sausage with cheddar cheese.
So many animals.
But they took the hot link and they grilled it on the grill where they had the burgers cooking. And then they would take it and they would dip it in barbecue sauce right before they put it on the burger. And it is so freaking good. Like it's next level hamburger. And so like for me, that's like the bar, right? That's where it started for me. And I love hamburgers.
I remember when we met, you told me infinite stories about that burger.
About the Double Z in general.
Well, yeah, but you'd be like, and I would like call my dad and be like, can I get Double Z for lunch today?
Oh yeah,
and they would
deliver it to the school, and everyone was so jealous because it was such a like popular restaurant. Yeah. And having my dad work there, like I was able to get it on the regs, which was pretty sweet. And I don't know, I really love that, and so I guess maybe I'll shift it to like I really love barbecue foud just in general.
You're shifting from you can't shift.
I don't know.
Can't midday
I don't know.
Shift.
Like that's what I'm saying is like this was a really hard one for me because there's so much. Like but hamburgers for sure. I think I can get a hamburger anywhere and still be satisfied. Like regardless of what it is, if there's nothing else on the menu, like I'm looking for that burger. Yeah. And I'll typically get that if there's nothing else that like jumps out at me. Yeah. Because I know I'm going to enjoy it. And I have this weird thing where like if I'm going to pay for a meal, like it better be darn good. Like because I can cook things. Like I know how to cook most items. Yeah. And I can do a decently good job at it.
More than decent.
If I'm going to pay $10, $12, $15 or whatever for a meal, like it better exceed what I can do. Yes. I
would agree with that because if you're paying for something, it probably should be something that either one, you can't really do at home. Like we don't have a deep fryer, so fried chicken or you know what I mean?
Like
those
sushi,
kind of things.
Because I am not like a master at knife skill.
Yeah, no.
Like, but like that's the whole reason I don't eat it like Jimmy John's. Because
you can make a
it's
sandwich.
a cold deli sandwich. Like, there's nothing appealing about that to me.
Because you can make one better.
Because I can make one better at home and I don't have to pay $10 for it.
Exactly.
So I would say, for me, it's either a burger or like a good steak. Like,
yours is like Americana food.
For sure.
Like, if it's an American staple, it's probably something that speaks to you. Where I feel like for me, mine is more like ethnic food.
Yeah. So like, I guess that would work too, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Like a Philly cheesesteak or a hamburger or a steak or I mean, any of those like real American staples.
Where I'm like, give me Chinese or Thai or Indian
food.
Give me that any day.
Yeah.
And I'm here for it. Probably because I can eat more.
Yeah, especially like Indian food.
But also, I just really love it.
Yeah.
So good.
It is good. And I really enjoy all that food too. Like,
I know you do.
I have no qualms with like food from other cultures. Like, I love food.
Yes.
Period. Like, that is it.
All right. So
I guess the next question.
To the next one.
This was a hard one. So
I honestly, like, I wrote something down, but I'm going to be honest. I'm probably lying completely because I needed to answer the question. So
if you could eat only one meal forever, what would that meal be?
I legit couldn't. Like, legitimately, I couldn't. But I said tacos.
Me too.
And here's why I said tacos, because I felt like I found a loophole in that and that I could put different toppings in it every time.
100% why I chose tacos.
Because I was like, I like Mexican food and I don't ever get tired of it and I love tacos and I could keep it spicy every day by switching out the salsa or the main protein or,
for sure.
I mean, I use protein loosely, but
loosely.
I feel like there's all these things that you can change out in tacos that I was like, okay, I could handle that.
I would agree. Yeah. But I do love tacos. Like, I mean, we get tacos. We make tacos at home like once a week.
Yeah.
I mean, we sub tacos
on top of that.
We sub tacos for nachos the last 2 weeks.
Yes.
But it was still basically like flat tacos. Like,
that's
but
true.
we love tacos in this house and our kids love tacos and they're easy and they feed a ton of people and they're cheap. Like,
tacos.
They're really good. And then there's a restaurant here in the Columbus area. It's also in Pennsylvania and Indiana now.
You guys, it's
called
so
Condado,
good.
and they will blow your mind.
So, like,
with tacos.
Go.
Yeah,
please.
If you live around or like you can drive to Columbus, like go to Condado. It's a build your own taco bar.
So good.
They offer everything you can think of.
Yeah, they've got like meat, vegetarian,
they got like
vegan.
6 different kinds of shells. They've got like 7 different kinds of protein, all the toppings you can think of. And it's so good. And the best thing about it is that you can eat and not feel like stifled. Yeah. Like you can pick a completely vegetarian taco. Shoot, you can pick a completely vegan taco if you wanted to and still be completely satisfied.
Yeah.
Which I think is so hard to say about a lot of restaurants.
Yeah.
That we can both go to and both not feel like we're giving up on something.
Yeah, for sure. Because usually you guys will want something and it's always a big bummer for me because I
when we went to Texas Roadhouse, it's like, you're like, I get the rolls, which you love.
No, but
now they have their like veggie, like their side plate or whatever. But it's hard. All right. To be like, okay, well, we're going to go to this restaurant. Well, you can't eat anything there. Like, and I don't want to go and pay for something that's going to be
for me
subpar.
To eat French fries.
Yeah, that sucks. But yeah, so I would say, I mean, tacos are one for me for sure. But yeah, I had a hard time thinking about that question.
It was really challenging.
Yeah. So that's 5.
Like one of those not really fair questions that you're like.
It's one of those like, would you rather? And like all the options suck.
Like, would you rather have no
Would you rather
hair
have your toenails pulled out or like be lit on fire? Like, no thanks. Neither. Like, I'd rather choose life.
Yeah, pretty much. I guess really I'd pick the toenails because then I could still live. It would just be real painful.
No, that sounds horrible.
I don't know. Anyway,
we digress.
Off topic.
We have a bonus question.
Always.
And I actually have a secret bonus question that I didn't tell you earlier.
No! Okay. I'm not prepared.
All right. So our 5 for 5 is going to turn into a 7 for 7s or whatever. 5 for 7.
5.
But the first bonus question I have is, what is something that you have always wanted to try or wanted to eat but haven't had a chance to yet?
Okay. So the only thing I could think of, because I was like racking my brain and I was like, this is really hard for me because I feel like I am decently well traveled.
Yeah, I would agree.
I've gotten to try some amazing foods.
And you're not shy to try new food.
No, not at all. And that's something that I'm pretty good about, is that like I will eat something when I am overseas, even if I maybe like, oh, this might have a little meat in it, or this might have a chicken broth in it. Like, I'm still going to eat it because I'm never going to get to experience that before, and I don't want to. Like, if it's like chunks of meat, I'm obviously not going to eat it. I would not feel good. But I'll eat something even if I don't know all the ingredients, because there's no way I possibly could, because I don't speak things. Like, I don't speak Chinese, or I don't speak Indian, or Hindi. Gosh, wow. Sorry. Whew. Anyway, that was great. But so I said, I'm going to probably butcher the pronunciation because I don't speak French.
Raclette.
It is this like cheese wheel that they light on like fire. They like warm it up, and then they like scrape off all this cheese onto like whatever you're eating. And that is what I want. It's
typically like veggies, but it's like that like bubbly, like almost burnt cheese sensation.
You should go look it up on YouTube if you've never seen it. It's
like people
like
just post it as like a most satisfying video or whatever.
Because it's like this oozing cheese, just like blah.
Yeah, it looks real good.
They
put it on like plates of veggies. They put it on like meat dishes.
Yeah.
Like anything that like this goes back to my comfort food of like anything covered in cheese. Like this is literally like just covering it with cheese.
Yes, please.
Super good. Raclette.
It's like, it's not quite fondue, but it's like pretty close.
I mean, it's like the melty part of fondue without the rest of the ingredients.
Yeah.
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 Because I mean, fondue is Swiss cheese, Gruyere cheese, white wine, and nutmeg.
Yeah.
Like that's it. A little bit of garlic. But like raclette is Swiss cheese wheel.
Heated up
and like scraped with a knife.
Yeah.
Super tasty.
Yeah.
I would love to try that too. That sounds like a good time. Like over like asparagus or like,
you know how I feel about
or like those Brussels sprouts I make.
Like cheese, like crispy cheese.
Yeah.
And like I have a thing.
We made meatball subs tonight, and like the cheese boiled over the edge of the bun and like burnt onto the pan, and Jess was like, I want that. And so I scraped it off the pan and put it inside her meatball sub. Because
here's the thing. We've said that I eat a little dairy free. I'll still eat some cheese because
it's
I
cheese.
love it. And I can't help it. It's worth feeling super sick. It's worth it. It's worth it.
For me, my thing I haven't tried yet kind of goes back to, I just really want a burger or steak or something, because all my answers revolve around that. But I've always wanted to try Wagyu beef from Japan, though. Like, I want to go to Japan and eat like fresh Wagyu steak. Like, their whole philosophy is like the happier the animal, like the happier the life the animal lives, the like tastier they are.
It's because cows have feelings.
And so they give these cows like massages. They get like sleep inside in like heated areas. They drink beer.
I'm glad you're ignoring my comments.
I know.
Feelings.
Because happy animals make tasty meals.
But happy animals are happy, and we should leave them.
I know. Well, I'm going to keep eating them. But I really want to try it. I haven't had a chance to yet. It's stupid expensive, and I'm not going to buy it and like totally botch it. Like making it. Yeah. Like, I want to have somebody make it for me.
That's definitely something you have made for you.
Yeah. And so that's one of those things where I'll pay for it because I don't think I could do it justice.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely want to try that. And I think that I want to try that with raclette cheese on top of it. We also saw this other steak on YouTube, it was a butter aged steak. And so what they did is they took like this meat and they like just dipped it in butter and made this like casing of butter.
And then they age it for like
90 days or something stupid.
I thought it was
or
more
30
than
days.
that. I thought
it was a long time. And then they just take the whole thing and just cook it. Like they just throw the whole butter coated steak in a pan with like rosemary and garlic and onions and just cook it in like butter. And the people who we watched them eat it though were like, oh my gosh, this is like the best thing I've ever put in my mouth. So that might be worth trying. It might be fun to like do it, like make it.
Maybe.
You just have to have the right temperature. It's like over the winter, it might not be bad.
We can make it with beef.
Biff.
Which is fake meat.
Fake meat. No. But so the last mystery question that I haven't told you about.
Oh no.
I wrote it on the back of the paper.
You sneaky snook.
What is your worst food memory?
Oh.
I've got 2.
I know one of yours.
Yeah.
We may have started discussing it earlier.
You want to go first? What do you think?
Food memory. No, because then I'll be just thinking about that and grossed out.
I'm going to go first. So growing
I thought of one. Okay.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So
I've got it.
Sorry, Mom and Dad, but growing up, we had this dish called Alfred Luntz.
It's in his grandma's cookbook.
It's in my grandma's cookbook, I think.
Don't cook it.
It is the absolute worst dish. It haunts my dreams still. Like, I hate it. It is basically you take ground beef and you smash it into a pie pan to make like a pie crust out of ground beef.
You already have gone wrong.
Yes. And then you take zucchini and you grate it on a cheese grater and you mix it with like sour cream, which I despise sour cream.
He hates it.
And then you put this gelatinous zucchini sour cream mix in the middle as pie filling and you bake it in the oven until it's overdone.
Just like you, even now, if we have sour cream, because like our kids like it, like he gags. He
so
gags
bad.
as soon as it's open. Like I can't imagine this being set down in front of you.
But like we had a rule in my house that like what my parents made for dinner was what was for dinner. Like we didn't get a choice in it. There was no fuss about it. Like you ate it. And like
that was not my life.
And so they would make this meal and I did not like it. And I did not eat it. Like, those were nights that I went to bed hungry. Like, I would eat the beef part of it, like, because I could usually, like, scrape the gooey part off.
Oh, gosh, I'm sorry.
And, like,
I just
eat
shuddered
the beef.
a little.
But, like, it was the worst meal ever.
Oh.
And I hate it. And my parents love it, and my brother loves it, and I don't know why. It's like, I feel like they oversalt it, too. Like, it's just, like, it's salty. It's, like, it feels like boogers in your mouth. Like, it's just everything about it is just so bad. And like I'm like reliving this and it's like it's turning my stomach. Like, you
know, the funny thing is I like sour cream, but it's still turning my stomach.
It's so bad.
It sounds so gross.
Oh, sorry, Mom. Sorry, Dad. Sorry, Grandma. But that page of your cookbook should be burned. Horrible.
Okay, so I just thought of one finally. My probably worst experience with food was when I was in China with my parents the first time. And the people, like we went, so when we went, we were adopting my sister and they do this whole tour because they want you to understand the culture of China and all of that good stuff. It is good things, like, but they pre-order everything. So we went to this restaurant and we get there and it's very, very traditional. And in certain areas in China, they eat meats that are a little bit more interesting. Or like they'll eat fish that still are staring at you. And I can't, like, I mean, you've heard me say cows have feelings. Like, I can't do it. So it was staring at me and I was like, oh my gosh. And it's really rude in Asian culture to not eat what's put before you. And I was like, oh no, like, please don't make me eat this. And then there was like crabs and you were supposed to eat the brain. And I was like, oh my gosh, I can't do this. Like, I can't do this. I can't do this. Yeah, it was really challenging.
My second one also comes from China.
Oh, okay. Oh, fun.
So we went to China in 2008 and it was the first time I've been over there.
Yeah.
And they have this food that's a street vendor food and like I can still smell it.
I know what you're talking about. I've never put it in my mouth. So
we call it stinky tofu, and that's what your parents call it. I don't know what the real name of it is.
It's a fermented tofu.
It's like it's turnt. Like it's bad. Like, but they cook this, so they have these like squares of tofu.
See, but my parents like it now.
I know.
They've adjusted.
Hard pass. But they take these squares of tofu and they like fry them on this griddle basically out in the open air.
Yeah.
And you can smell it from like 100 miles away. Like, it is so potent and so nasty, and it burns your nostrils and gets stuck like up in your sinuses, and you smell it all day, and you think you get rid of it, and then the next block there's another vendor selling it, and it is horrible.
Well, and we didn't know that I was pregnant at the time, and for any of those of you out there that have been pregnant, you know, smell aversion is real. And I mean, seriously, I was so sick. I was like, oh gosh, I'm gonna throw up again.
I can't eat tofu because of the texture of it, like tofu. To begin with. And then there's like this,
it's not bad if you
this nasty smelling tofu that's like, I guess like you can literally smell it from a block away.
I can smell it.
Like, it smells it smells like bad food. Like you would open your fridge and like if you smelled this, you'd be like, oh, like there's something's expired in here. Yeah. Like I need to find it. I need to get it out of my fridge. Like it's bad. Like it reminded like a Mater eating the wasabi and saying the pistachio.
Do not eat the pistachio ice cream. It has turned.
But like it's just. It's so bad, and like it lingers with me, and like the fact that your parents like it now is even worse. Like I know that if we go there again, they're going to eat it in my proximity, and I'm gonna be like,
do that.
I'm gonna have to sit there and smell it, and I'm gonna let them because I'm nice like that. But
But even like when I was in Taiwan this last time, and they have it there as well. And it's it's a thing. Like people love it. It's kind of like
a delicacy.
It's like durian there. Like durian is another one of those things.
Looks like boogers, smells like bad feet.
Yeah. But I've heard it tastes really good. I can't get past the smell.
Can't do it. If it stinks, I'm not gonna eat it.
No.
But yeah, so that was eye opening for me. Like traveling to a third world country, we'd call it. Like it was rough. So rough.
I'm
one to try new things too, for sure. Like, I mean, but I will not put that in my. I don't think I can physically do it.
There's a few things I would never try. That is one of them. Balut, which is a Filipino delicacy, which
they call it the 1,000-year-old egg.
No, that's not the 1,000-year-old egg. Balut is a
It's like it's a fetus.
Baby. It's a baby chicken's already growing in there, but you
and you eat it like bones and all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, I gotta stop talking about that.
Another one would be a 1,000-year-old egg.
Yes. Nope. Wouldn't do that.
Google that. It's gross.
Nope. Again, a delicacy, and this is by no means judging other cultures for their
just not for me.
I am just.
It's rough.
I'm.
But let's get off of the nasty food.
Okay, let's get back on the good stuff.
But so that was our 5 for 5. Really a 5 for 7.
Sorry, we ended it with turning all your stomachs. We ended it with really nasty
stuff. But it's fun to talk about things that you guys enjoy, and it's fun to talk about those things with your wife, because it brings up memories and it brings up times that you guys spent together, and a lot of things in our culture in America are surrounded with food, gatherings and with, Thanksgiving coming up, like it's a big time for food.
Yeah.
And so, gather around with your family, enjoy some food.
So safely.
Your bubble family.
Yeah.
Your direct family.
Be very safe.
And, enjoy some food together and create some memories.
Yeah.
But if you guys got any value out of this content, if you enjoyed us rambling about food and how much we love food, feel free to rate this podcast on whatever podcast service you're listening to. If you're watching us on YouTube, you can watch my visceral reaction to Alfred Luntz. Be sure to like this video, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and hit the little bell so you can be notified of future videos from us. And we would love to hear your guys' answers to these questions. I'll put them in the show notes and also in the description on YouTube, so you guys can answer them in the comments if you want to. But other than that, we will see you on the next one.
Bye.